Damn, your girl feeling herself. Well, update, I changed up the lighting in this. I decided that I'm gonna film during the day, turn on all of my lights, and film in front of the window. 3 years is a really long time that I have not uploaded. I think it's gonna be 4 years this coming year, so I think that it's time for me to tell you guys what I've been up to. I mentioned it a little bit in my video in my pineapple obsession collection, and I didn't know how to start or what to make of this video. If I literally have ideas of what I need to do, and YouTube is honestly so therapeutic for me, and I can't believe that I haven't done it in 3 years. I have recorded a lot of videos, however, I either started it and I never either edited it or it just never came together. So I think I'm just gonna, I don't know where to start, I guess you could say. I think this will be my filming thing. This is like a little beanie bag. I'm just going to go with something that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time. I looked up some videos and I didn't get any of what people might look up or look into. I am in the military, okay? We've established that in one video. Okay. In the military, there's 5 different branches, mainly 4, but there's 5. There is the Army, there's the Marine Corps, the Navy, and the Air Force. The last one is Coast Guard, but they are kind of different. But if you guys have any questions on regarding like differences, or if you have any questions in any of that spectrum, just let me know. There's also a bunch of videos on different types of jobs that people do in the military. I am in the Navy, and there's a bunch of people that do Navy videos, and there's a bunch of people that do hospital corpsman videos, which that's what I am. I am a corpsman. However, there is no videos on female corpsmen that have gone greenside. Now, I know that most of you guys probably clicked on this video because you saw that either you're going to go greenside as a female and you kind of want to know what FMTB is like, or you're just curious on this video. And for the males watching, it's kind of like a similar thing, but I do want to kind of narrow it down on the females side of it. And if you are already in the military and you have questions, or you were thinking about joining the military and you want to go through a path, then let me tell you about my story. I joined back in 2016. I left for boot camp March 23rd of 2016. So this upcoming March is going to be my 3rd year mark. And boot camp in March through May is when I graduated. It was cold in March and the beginning of April. I can make a whole video about that, but I don't think that's why you came here. I think you came here for the rest of the stuff. So if you want me to make it, I will, but there's a bunch of videos on Navy boot camp. There's even a series on it. So anyway, after that, I went to San Antonio, Texas for my A school. Now, there's a bunch of videos on that as well. Had a blast. I am originally from Texas, so going back to Texas was really nice, except I was 4 hours away from home, which wasn't bad compared to what I just came from. After A school, towards the end, they ask you, basically they line you up and they ask you, there's like orders pop up. And I really wanted to stay on the state side, but this opportunity gave me, going overseas is a huge opportunity. So I went into the room, and I don't know if it's like this now, but this is what happened with me. I went into the room, the classroom that we normally are in. They come in and they're like, okay, these are the orders. I saw Yokosuka, Okinawa, Japan, Okinawa, Japan, Okinawa, Japan. And there was one billet for Virginia. And I was like, I don't want to go to Virginia. I've heard crazy stories about Virginia. I don't want to go there. So my only options were overseas. I had the option to either go overseas or wait until the next day to find out more orders. And I wasn't going to take that chance because I guess I kind of felt something that was like, you know what, my family's not going to like this very much, but I think that I don't want to get stuck where I don't want to be, and you know, so I picked Okinawa. I was there for 2 years. I thrived at my job. I worked in labor and delivery, and I love everybody that I met there. I traveled to Korea, Philippines, and Thailand. I loved all three, and I definitely recommend you guys going to those Asian countries because it'll change your perspective on things, and honestly, I'm so blessed that I was able to go, and it's very affordable. In the Navy, you can pick a year out from your orders. So most of you guys watching already know that, but if you're new or thinking about joining the military, that's how you do it. At least it is in the Navy. You can look up to a year before you PCS from your duty station. So for me, I started September of 2017. So I looked up orders and things like that and put in greenside orders. And I originally wanted to go greenside. Going greenside has been very different to say the least, but I will say that it's definitely something that I really enjoy. I enjoyed the hospital setting, but I think that greenside is great for me. I didn't get picked up for orders in December, and then I just kept doing it, and I was on my last window of picking. So my fifth pick, that's what they gave me, and I was off to go FMTB training in October. So I got my orders in April, didn't leave Okinawa until September. So all that time, you know, everybody's like, yeah, you know, you're gonna, so they just opened up West Coast for females. So there's 2 FMTBs. There's one on the East Coast and the one on the West Coast. On the East Coast, that's where all the females would go up, and there was a period when females would go West Coast, but a lot of them would get a lot of injuries. You know what, we're just gonna make West Coast only for males, and females also go to East Coast and males. So it's kind of like the Marine Corps in that sense. So what greenside is, you train with the Marines. The FMTB stands for Field Medical Training Battalion. So you are training to, you know, combat medicine, and you have to learn how to basically think on your feet in a situation like that and to serve with the Marines. I got orders to West Coast for FMTB, and I was a little nervous because everyone was telling me that it was really hard, and it is. I will say that. I pushed through everything. So what I will say about FMTB West, and I don't know if anybody's watching that went through it with me or the instructors, hi. FMTB changed a lot, apparently, from, you know, just the males. A lot of females dropped out from my company. Field Med is 8 weeks long, and you do so much more than in the Navy, like Navy boot camp. Like everything in the Navy is enclosed, like you march to the place, but it's inside. Like even working out is inside. So Field Med is completely different. It's kind of structured like the Marine boot camp. I mean, we do the PFT, we do a CFT. You know, we get to wear MARPATs, deserts, and all that stuff. So we go to the field. So if you are planning to go greenside, just make sure that you are going to the field. Females, if you get your period during the field, just make sure you bring a lot of Ziploc bags. There is a porta potty out there. There's that. I was I think it was the 4th or 3rd class to go through West Coast, and it's honestly kind of like a little pride thing because I don't know how long they're going to leave it open for females on West Coast. So for me to be able to say that I went West Coast is really cool. The reason why they had closed it originally was because it has a lot of hills. California has a lot of hills. The weight of when you're hiking, you step wrong, you can potentially hurt your hips or you can break something. However, females still go to the West Coast to get stationed. So they're still gonna have to hike, they're still gonna have to do all these things, so why go train East Coast and then go to West Coast to get stationed? Like, and then you're gonna have to struggle all over again. 11 females in my platoon, and only 9 graduated with me. The rest of them were males, and we graduated with 69 people. 9 of those people were females, and the rest were males. So females are constantly outnumbered in the military, and more greenside. And you're gonna constantly be having to prove yourself, so just be prepared for that. I don't really get that much here, but in field med it was kind of like I cut off 3 minutes off of my PRT score, so I mean that's really cool. Also, one more thing, if you're going greenside, if you're going to FMTB, do your last PRT with the run. If you do like alternate cardio, which in the Navy you can do, run your last PRT before you go to FMTB, because that's gonna help you and continue running before you leave, because you're gonna be running a lot. I cut off 3 minutes. So everywhere you go, you have to run. You have to have some kind of sense of urgency. And when you go from training command to a training command to an actual command and then go back to a training command is completely different from going to a training command to another training command, which is FMTB. So if you go from boot camp to A school to FMTB, which most of the males in my class in A school did, you know, you get 8 months of training and then you go out. But going from being almost 3 years in and then going back to a student status is completely different. Have your hair, oh my god, have your hair in fucking regs all the time. No matter if you're out in the field, they're going to say something about your hair. Even if they don't, Marines take a lot of pride in their uniform and how they look. So if you see female Marines walking around, their bun is snatched, and then you see Navy females, and now you can wear a ponytail in your uniform, so that's like gone. Military bearing wear. Field med teaches you kind of going back into the mindset of, you know, having military bearing, calling everybody, you know, by their rank, and like standing at parade rest, which in the Navy we don't do, but in the Marine Corps you do. If someone in authority or higher ranking than you, you stand at modified parade rest. A modified parade rest is where you can speak when spoken to, or when you're just talking to someone. Just be prepared for that. Just remember that you're gonna have to kind of train yourself back into boot camp status, except that you can leave at the end of the day whenever you have liberty. You don't get liberty, like you can change into civilian clothes, until a month in. First month, you're basically earning your right to go off base and wear civilian clothes. The first couple of weeks, you can only stay within, at least West Coast, you can only stay within a little bit of area, and then the next 3 or 4 weeks, you can go on the whole base, but you still have to wear a uniform. After a month in, if you pass all of your tests, there's 5 tests, by the way, I'll get into that in a second, you can wear civilian clothes and you can leave off base. If you've been in more than 2 years, you can put a special lib chit, and basically you can stay overnight. You don't have to muster. The muster was freaking annoying. You had to be back, like if you didn't put one in on the weekend, you had to be back by like 20 to 45 or something like that, and on the weekdays you had to be mustered at 2000, I think. I don't remember that well. So yeah, the instructors were fine. They were very helpful. I really enjoyed them. So there's that. Shout out to them. Their whole thing is to train you to go infantry. I'm not in an infantry unit. I'm just logistics. However, they put you in that mindset, so whenever you go to your command, if you go with the grunts, then you kind of already are in that mindset. That way you're not culture shocked, but they kind of have to do it across the thing to prepare you for the best. Because if you didn't know this already, corpsmen are the most decorated rate in the military. So, or should I say in the Navy, which is a huge standard, and I am so blessed to even call myself a freaking corpsman. It's definitely different going in as a 3rd class. I came in the Navy as an HR, and then I picked up on my first time 3rd class. I'm up for 2nd class this time around, so we'll see if I pick up first time. Who knows? I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a snippet of what it is for green side for females, especially field med. Field med is not that hard, but you just kind of have to put yourself in that mindset that you're gonna have to do it. If you say that you're gonna quit, you're going to quit. Like I said before, there are 5 tests and you cannot score lower than an 80. So if you get a 78, you fail that test and you have to retake it. You get counseled for it. I would know because I failed the first test. After that, I learned my lesson. The first test is history. So, which is kind of ironic because I love history, but anyway. After that, I learned my lesson and I, changed my study habits. Fucking studied, and I blew the test out of the water. You do an initial PRT the first day, and then you do your official PRT like 6 weeks in or something like that, and if you fail that one, you're out of the class. Failing tests, if you triple tap a test, which means you fail it 3 times, that means that you are out of the class.